presentation of the USA Ultimate National Championships brought to you by Elemental Technologies, perfecting the media experience with multi-screen delivery solutions for the modern world, and Patagonia, team sales and discounts for athletes seeking exceptional quality and peak performance.
Welcome back to NGN's continued coverage of the 2014 USA Ultimate National Championships. We are here. It's heating up as the action heats up. We're in the quarterfinal round of men's action. I'm Kyle Weisbrod here with Topher Davis. You can tweet at me at KDubsUltimate.
And you can find me at Real Topher Davis. And Kyle, we are very excited for this game. It is the Southeast Regionals Finals that never was. Chain Lightning was upset in the semis. Ring went on to take the region, then Chain won in the backdoor game. Two Southeast teams battling for a semifinals berth here at this national tournament. That's a strong showing for the region.
Absolutely, and these are two teams that I don't think either one of them, and no one expected these teams to be in the semifinals of this tournament. So this is a huge opportunity for both of them, a lot to prove. Chain has a long-standing history over the last few years of taking this matchup, but Ring is on mission here after taking down Machine, the number 2 seed overall at this tournament in the pre-quarterfinal round. And here is the action.
Starting off the play, we see a vertical stack from Chain. Wilson with the disc on the sideline. Over to Spiva.
Pick called.
Pick called on the field. We've seen a lot of pick calls from vertical stacks, from teams playing vertical stacks. I wonder if Chain will keep it any cleaner.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of vertical stack. It's like the tide has completely turned back the other way from the mid-2000s where everyone was running horizontal. We are now only in the vert stack.
As the disc gets tapped back in, Spiva moves it upfield to Enzelman. Enzelman wanting to take the deep shot. Holds it at a high count, gets it up line. Disc tapped in the air, but it is saved just outside the end zone. Mark Poole with possession. Off to Enzelman. And a call on the field. Pick call just around the disc as they tried to go backfield. And Chain's offense looking to score the first point. No turns. Poole just there and flips it for the easy goal. Chain starts out the game, flawless point, 1-0.
So Chain Lightning working the unders here to start out. One away throw that got D'd up by Ring, but Mark Poole able to come down with that, and they swing across for the goal to number 2, Austin Taylor. Here's another look at that possession-saving grab from Mark Poole.
Great D from Ring of Fire.
Great poach onto Alan Laviolette, but Mark Poole, heads-up play, able to come down with it. That's Inselman throwing it up the line. And so Chain Lightning starts up 1-0 here. On a turnover-less first point.
So our first look at the Ring of Fire offense. As you said earlier, Kyle, Ring of Fire, Chain historically has been the better team in this matchup. They, of course, won the championship in 2009, the first win for the program. But since then, Ring of Fire has really been doing a good job bolstering their roster, keeping the strong players that they have, and they've had a lot more talk about being a legitimate finals contenders team at this tournament.
Yeah, I think Ring has particularly been building off the back of the success of University of North Carolina. A lot of their top players here are former UNC stars.
We see Chain offense, Ring offense on the prowl, already at halfway up the field. Floaty disc up the line and taken right out of the air. A call. A pick is called.
It looks like a pick call, and they're trying to, it looks like the Ring offense is trying to argue that it happened before the throw that was the turnover, so it would come, the continuation would stop. No, it looks like it's going to stay with Taylor Goforth, who got the D for Chain Lightning.
Just back to Goforth.
So Ring with their first turnover of the game and the first turnover of either team, and now Chain Lightning with an opportunity to break here early.
Goforth taps the disc in. Can't get it up line. Now in a high count situation.
Michael Spear across the field. Blake Hanna underneath to Hollingworth. Out to Spear. Spear with a tough grab. Looks like there's a player down on the field. That's Christian Loritz, excuse me.
Ring of Fire very intense on this defensive possession. Christian Foster almost able to get the D. Excuse me, not Christian Foster.
Christian Johnson. Spear. Wow. Holy smokes.
Ken Porter doesn't even need to poach off deep. He just stands in the lane and snatches that disc out of the air, gives Ring possession, and now they're off and running with a lot of momentum. An unmarked player with the disc as a pick is called. And what a play from Ken Porter. This is going to the back of the end zone. And Ken Porter says, nope, that'll be mine.
Extendo arms. And then Ken Porter took off after turnover. And so Spear, Michael Spear's now matched up on him. I don't think Michael Spear likes the matchup, but here's a deep shot. And Loritz with the goal. Brian Casey with the assist for Ring of Fire. And they tie it up 1-1.
Ring 1, Chain Lightning 1.
Let's take a quick look at our keys to the game here. You know, one of the big things here, everyone knows Chain's motto, they dig the long ball. So Ring's big one here is to stop the long ball. On the other side for Chain, taking what Ring gives. I think, you know, we talked about their 2009 championship. One of the things that was impressive about that is they use this kind of idea that all these other teams have about Chain, and they turn it on its head. They use the dump swing, they move the distance and use the width of the field, and we're able to attack in multiple different ways. The other side of this game is going to be on the energy. Ring of Fire is a high-energy, high-intensity team. They like to get into it. They play physically. And Chain on the other side is a loose team. So the team that can control the tempo and the attitude of this game is going to have some success.
Right, and at both teams being from the same region, they have a lot of matchups against each other. This can either be one of those games where it gets hotly contested because you know the other players so well, you know their strengths, you know their weaknesses, and you have those personal gripes that you might have carried on from the college games, from the regionals. All of that is going to come on the field in this elimination game at the national championships.
Well, and it's almost like these two teams have developed in opposition of each other for so long, competing against each other for so many times, that they've got these kind of opposing attitudes towards the game that just reinforce each other.
Starting off in the vertical stack, Laviolette going deep. And a second goal for Austin Taylor. Past a bidding Noah Saul.
And Alan Laviolette with that put. So a quick shot from Chain Lightning. There's the long ball, and that's the one that Ring is looking to stop. But Austin Taylor with the wheels and Laviolette with the put. Noah Saul does his best to get up there, but Taylor able to come down with it in the end zone just enough.
If you've been paying attention to the Next Gen broadcast, first of all, thank you for supporting us at the Next Gen Ultimate crew. But also you would know that this whole tournament has been, this field in particular has been an upwind, downwind kind of game. In this round, the winds really died down, and Chain didn't have the advantage of having a downwind, but they're still able to get those deep looks. I'm curious to see how that affects kind of the way we call and the way that both the teams play, because it has been not so much of an upwind, downwind and a completely unable to break it upwind, but it certainly helps the defense with that wind to their back.
Yeah, we got a light wind here. It's kind of like a perfect thrower's wind. So throwers can add a little bit of touch to it. I expect we won't see the same problem we've seen with edges for the rest of the weekend. A lot of those deep shots going downwind, going too far, and those upwind ones losing speed and momentum and getting big crowds under the disc.
So the pull comes up from Chain, received by Bode. Send it to Nethercutt. Now at Johnson. Johnson, Porter on the sideline. Porter, incredible play to get up, attack the disc, and try to get it back in bounds. He knew he didn't have a chance to toe the line, just puts it back in the middle of the field. And while it's not a possession-saving throw, it does get them another 50 yards of defensive cushion.
And Micah Hood almost able to come down with that one for Ring of Fire.
So chain defense takes a swing. Erickson on the sideline. Back to the Johnson. Unmarked. I don't know where the chain defenders are. And there's a huck going to Norris. And Norris, great edge on that throw from Micah Hood. And he finds his teammate Josh Norris in the end zone, tying this game 2-2.
So Ring with 2 scores, and on both of them giving opportunities to Chain Lightning, but Chain Lightning unable to convert. 0 for 2 in their D-line offense. And Ring able to tie this one up. Great shot here from Micah Hood, and this is what we're talking about. That is the kind of edge that had we seen that in an earlier game, it would have blown out the back, but Micah Hood putting it on point for Josh Norris here. Beautiful out to space, and Josh Norris able to just run onto that one. We're 4 points in this game, and Ken Porter has made 2 unbelievable plays here early, Toph. Just impressive stuff.
Yeah, and he's certainly on our list of players to watch and has been on the list of players to watch for everyone in the country for the past couple years now. Ring of Fire has really been knocking on the door in these last couple tournaments, but hasn't quite made the breakthrough. They're trying to get into that semifinals and then really surprise people to get into the finals of the national tournament.
Yeah, and it's interesting the way this tournament's kind of shaken up. I think most teams would agree at this point that the 2 scariest teams this tournament, Revolver and Bravo on one side of the bracket. We're looking at the other side, Chain and Ring, and the winner of this game will face the winner of Ironside versus Rhino. And from what we saw from Ironside and Rhino yesterday, a very winnable game.
Out of bounds this time.
That pole sails out of bounds. Inselman will take it to the brick mark in the center. A vertical stack setup. We've seen a couple set plays, a zipper from the back. It looks like there's a poachy look from Ring, but everyone is in their man now. They probably just want to disrupt that first play. And a great bid. I think that is Justin Allen guarding Nicky Spiva.
That's a matchup to watch. Justin Allen out of Appalachian State. Nicky Spiva, of course, former Next Genner out of Colorado College.
Laviolette to Conger. Conger to Spiva from the front of the stack. Tough time finding the dump, going to the sideline to Conger, and Conger can't reel it in.
Chain Lightning turnover.
You got to give that turnover. Josh Mullen did a fantastic job on Laviolette, forcing the way more difficult reset out to space there to Conger.
So now Ring's defense. Noah Saul and Matt Bode anchoring that handler line. Matthews with the disc on the sideline. Able to get it to Saul. Saul wants to take a strike to the end zone. Good patience. Lefty inside. Maybe hoping Asa Wilson wasn't looking, but Wilson
with the D for Chain Lightning.
Yeah, trying to get
one of the veterans on this team gets the turn.
Trying to get a little too cheeky there. He held the disc for a long time, let the Chain defense kind of sit on his throw, and led to a turnover. So here's a big hammer from Inselman. And Saul able to get it back for Ring.
Noah Saul with a D for Ring.
Ring's defense looking for their first break. Bode on the sideline. A timeout is called.
With the disc for Ring. He takes
We will take.
That's their first timeout of the half.
Well, it looks like we will take a timeout as well. There's some confusion on the field about whether he called it, but that is going to stand. We'll take a quick break.
Welcome back to first half coverage of the quarterfinals in the men's division. Action here between Raleigh's Ring of Fire and Atlanta's Chain Lightning. We're at 2-2. And Matt Bode with the disc.
After that timeout.
There's an opportunity for a break, the first break of the game for Ring of Fire. This is Ring's second opportunity of this point. And right away, Inselman with the huge layout block. Going around Noah Saul.
Jared Inselman with the D for Chain.
So Chain Lightning's offense now back with possession. Young and Conger playing a give and go. Still up that sideline. Just those two. Conger had it, is calling a foul.
Taylor Pope not happy with that call. Austin and Conger getting a little, Taylor and Conger getting a little too fancy there, a little too many throws. Wally Kwan here, the observer, stepping in for the call. Our other observer is Josh Cooper on the other side.
So this is going to the observer. He's calling no foul. Conger might have been bobbling it when Pope came into him.
There was a foul call.
Whatever the reasoning is, Ring of Fire. Defense has a chance for a break. They attack immediately. Allen and Spiva. Allen is so fast and strong in the air, and what a play by Allen. And flips it in for the goal and the first break of the game. Ring of Fire with a huge energy type of play to score. That's Jarrett Bowen, who is on the receiving end of the goal. Great play from Ring of Fire after that turn.
And that is a huge turn of events. I mean, Chain Lightning sitting there knocking on the door, 5 yards out, looking like they're in control until Conger bobbles that disc on the fourth straight give and go there from Austin Taylor. Here's another look at it. That's a tough one. Conger's definitely bobbling it, but Taylor Pope definitely makes contact, but then right away, no hesitation, Justin Allen, and check out this play. Spiva all over him, and Justin Allen keeping his focus, making that grab, and then hitting that little backhand for the score and the break. 3-2, Ring of Fire takes the lead. That's Jarrett Bowen with the goal. And Ring is fired up. And just like we talked about, this is the kind of energy that Ring wants to play with. They love these defensive breaks. They're an emotional team and a team that can get on a roll.
Yeah, and to attack quickly after a call like that, a called turnover, both teams are kind of still trying to figure out what's going on. And the first team to get back in the game, leave the call where it is more successful. Ring of Fire. Of course, they had possession. It might be different if they're on defense, but they strike quickly, and it's very effective. The Ring of Fire pole goes out of bounds, and Chain's offense working upwind for the first time.
Yeah, very heads-up attack from Justin Allen.
Put it in play from the brick mark.
Poole taking the disc to the middle. It looks like Chain is in a horizontal stack. It's a flood and clear play for Young. Now Inselman with it.
Lots of traffic for Taylor.
Good play by Young to attack that disc between the two defenders. Olsen with the disc in the middle. Inside backhand to Inselman. Inselman gets the around flick to Spiva on the dead side. There's no one there to continue. And Spiva hits Young.
Taylor.
Excuse me, Taylor. 3 goals for Taylor out of the 3 goals for Atlanta Chain.
And we got to see Chain Lightning play against Machine in the semifinals of ECC, and Taylor is doing a lot with his speed. He's a great fast target for this Chain offensive line. Young at 22 years old, not very tall at 5'10", but very, very effective. Here it is again as Taylor strikes for the goal. Assist from Spiva.
Kyle, as you mentioned, Nikki Spiva was one of the original Next Gen Tour players. Of course, the Next Gen Tour back in 2011 that jump-started this whole event that we are part of right now. But for our Twitter fans at home, how many next-gen players are playing in this game? We've already given you one with Nikki Spiva, but there are a couple more. Let us know what you think, if you've got them all, tallied up, and we'll try to give a shout-out to the first winner.
I think I got it. I'll save it for later,
Don't
though.
spoil it, Kyle. Don't spoil it.
You know, that was the first time we've seen either of these teams, Chain on their offensive line, running something other than a vert stack. They started with that horizontal and spread. Both teams have been running primarily vert, and the defenses have been straight up person-to-person deep.
Sideline, 10 yards outside of his end zone. Another big around throw. Johnson out of his hands and rolls out of bounds. Chain Lightning gets an opportunity to get this break back and put the game on serve.
And that is an aggressive throw for a reset and try to do a little bit too much with it. And Johnson unable to come down. And this is Chain's third opportunity for a break and put this game back on serve here. It's like a violation call.
A travel violation. That's probably going to be because he was not standing right on the sideline. Your pivot foot has to be on the sideline if the disc is coming into play from out of bounds. A real quick and easy call for the observer before play even gets going. That's very well done.
So Michael Spear here with the disc.
Floats over the head, and Ken Porter gets a second D of this game.
KP steps in front of that pass.
Moving quickly, nether cut, shooting deep. Johnson is there. Johnson is fast, but he cannot get that disc as it goes out of bounds.
And good head-up play by Hollingworth there. Hollingworth, I mean, that disc wasn't in bounds either way, but if it had been in bounds, Hollingworth was going to have a good look at that and was probably going to get the block. Hollingworth picks the disc up.
Andrew Hollingworth picks up for Chain.
Uncontested throw in the middle of the field, and that is up in the air for Trenton Spinks. He's in the corner, and he reels that in, no problem. Chain gets their break back, takes the lead 4-3.
Great backhand there from number 55, Blake Hanna. Blake Hanna, you know, sees Spinks going deep and just winds up that backhand, puts out to space. And again, that's another throw that probably would have sailed out of bounds in the earlier wind, but this time he reads it well. Here he is after that bid from Ring of Fire and just puts that one out in the only space that Spinks can get to and his defender cannot.
Well, also with this throw, you got to wonder if he's putting it up in the air on purpose. Spinks has a lot of inches on his defender. Even if it is contested, if that throw is floating, you got to trust a big 6'3" receiver to come down with it. Fortunately, that for Chain, that one is not contested. It's an easy goal, and now their defense is back on the line.
So Chain Lightning getting the early break back. You know, both teams showing what they do. Chain Lightning loving the long ball. That's 4 turnovers for this Ring of Fire O-line. 2 of them have been gotten back by Ken Porter and great defensive plays.
Jay Clark on the pull for Chain Lightning.
Jay Clark with the pull for Chain.
A messy vertical stack for Ring. Now at midfield with Nethercut at the disc. Upfield to Casey. Casey flick across the field. That one sails out the back of the end zone.
Dennis Tarasi, the intended receiver there, and that was another really aggressive look from Ring of Fire. And too much on it, and that is their 5th O-line turnover early in this game. And Chain has another look for a break here, and they're coming out in a horizontal offense.
Horizontal offense with Jay Clark bringing the disc to the middle.
Notably, Austin Taylor coming over from the O-line on this point for Chain. being guarded by Ken Porter. Goforth looks for him, but pulls it back. And here's the look to Taylor. Porter on D, and that one's going to be too far.
Overthrows from both sides.
Chain Lightning turnover.
Neither team afraid to take the deep throw. Ring probably very confident in their offense's ability to earn the disc back after a long throw.
And Sam Little with the turnover there for Chain. But at any point, trading turnovers is to the benefit of the D-line as long as they can keep grinding its Ring, and they're making Ring work on all of these offensive possessions at this point.
Johnson takes the reset to Nethercutt as he moves it around. Nethercutt and Taurasi playing a little back and forth, and Taurasi out to Johnson. Wooten is there, and Johnson too fast for the Joel Wooten, scores the goal, ties the game at 4-4. Ring's offense able to punch it in on their third possession.
And that was a wonderful throw from Taurasi, and Joel Wooten of just a few years ago would have definitely gotten that block. He was one of the fastest players in the game, one of the few guys who would consistently challenge Bo Kittredge in the early years of Bo Kittredge's dominance. But this throw from Taurasi just out to space, and Joel on his horse can't make up the distance, and Christian Johnson able to run that one down.
Coming up after the halftime break here on the Next Gen Network, we will be doing an interview with one of our sponsors, Eric. We will be asking him such questions as, what does Eric stand for? Because I'm going to be honest, I don't quite know.
I'm curious as well. I know they've been doing a lot of stuff. I believe I mentioned Bo Kittredge thing. I know Bo Kittredge is involved with Eric, so I'm really interested to find out more. I've seen a lot of their hats around this tournament. It seems like they've been very active, and they have a tent here as well.
So we will get all the questions that we need.
Oh, there's an Eric hat right there, and a shirt. Look at that. So if you're curious, we'll find out soon.
Noah Saul on the pull for Ring of Fire.
So in other quarterfinal action, Boston Ironside up 5-4 against Portland Rhino. Rhino obviously the surprise of this round after knocking off Seattle Sockeye in the pre-quarters in a very intense matchup.
Here's Chain offense working down the field. It looks like another junk look from Ring. They're trying to stop those deep throws, force the disc to the sideline. Laviolette, Poole, and Conger really working this backfield, taking their time.
I like the soft zone look here. It looks like a very loose cut and kind of an aggressive midfield there. As Shane Cisco makes a play. Oh, and Cisco gets a block in front of Christian Olsen. Olsen making the foul call there. I would love to take another look at that. That looked like a heads-up play for Cisco.
We do have a call on the play, however.
Well, Cisco gets him with the back of his legs there, but I think he came through and got the block first. Ooh, this is a better look, I think. Definitely some contact, but I think the contact is after the outcome of the play is determined.
Olsen might also be claiming that he caught the disc from both of our angles. Our cameras are behind. We can't quite see if he had possession before he came through. The observer is ruling no foul, and Ring
Foul call overruled by
has
the
a short
observer.
field to work with to get another break. Right now, both teams have a break apiece, and we will see how they're
Just
able
over
to
to
respond
Ring.
here.
On that Cisco D.
So about 30 yards out, Taylor Pope with the disc, and right away to Noah Saul
Taylor Pope picks up.
into the end zone, and there's a break. 5-4. Ring takes back the lead.
Great throw from
Noah
Pope to
Saul
find
brings
Noah
it in
Saul,
for the
and
Ring
Noah Saul
score. That's Ring of
is a
Fire
great
5.
person to score this goal, because that
Chain
brings us
Lightning
back
4.
into the Next Gen Tour conversation. Speaking of, I would like to give a shout out to Jonathan Higgins at jhiggins89, who correctly identifies the 4 Next Gen players, Noah Saul and Nikki Spiva from the first year, and then Elliot Erickson and Jay Clark from year 3. Those players, of course, love coming around and saying hi to their favorite
Lightning
bus
takes a
captain,
timeout.
Kevin Menderhout, and the rest of the crew.
That's their first
A
timeout of the
timeout
half.
from Chain Lightning. as they have given up their second break of this half. They're only down 1. We will continue this coverage after a quick word from our sponsors. We are live back here in Frisco, Texas, in quarterfinals round of the 2014 National Championships. Southeast rivals, Chain Lightning, taking on Ring of Fire. One of them will be moving on to the semifinals tomorrow night. The other one will have to play during the heat of the sun tomorrow during the day in a Pro Flight Finale play-in game. Right now, Ring of Fire with 2 breaks, starting this on defense.
Yeah, lots on the line in this game. Obviously, trip to semifinals, and all the semifinalists get invited to the U.S. Open and those opportunities to play against those international teams and that ESPN coverage. Very exciting. Nikki Spiva with the disc. Taylor out wide. Inselman past a bidding ring defender.
Spiva going across the field to Laviolette. Great job putting that away from where the Ring of Fire defender could make a play on it. Uncontested foul on the mark. On the fake, Laviolette with possession. Goes back to Poole. Poole out to Taylor. Taylor being involved a lot in this offense. Back to the center to Conger. Conger doesn't continue it across the field. Hits Inselman on the break sideline. Inselman with the hammer. Wooten is there. And a great D by Hunter Taylor on Joel Wooten. Ring of Fire. Excellent opportunity to get a second break and as many points.
And Ring really coming out here and making some plays in this game. That is 3, 4 huge layout blocks that we've seen from this Ring team, and saving possession for their offense, and now generating turnovers for their defense to convert. They're up a break, 70 yards to go for their second break, and a 2-point lead.
A foul called downfield on the cut
Just back to Evans.
with Allen and Spiva. Those two have been matching up all game.
I'm going to say, I think that is a definite nominee for the Patagonia play of the game there, that Hunter Taylor huge layout block on the hammer.
Especially if Ring of Fire can punch this one in. That's a 2-break, 2-point advantage. Inselman trying to come from upfield to get the play. A lot of contact.
Mullen not happy with this call, not happy with the contact. Inselman, a former player for Ring of Fire, interestingly enough, but long enough ago that probably hasn't played with most of these guys on the roster. And there is a TMF for Inselman.
It looks like it's going to Hunter Taylor.
Let's see if we can get that one clarified. I mean,
team misconduct
both
foul.
teams apparently receiving TMFs. Inselman for the foul, and Mullen maybe for his reaction to that.
I would agree. And Mullen went off and immediately started attacking Conger. Didn't even go for Inselman. He was upset and was letting everyone on the field know it.
So back to the action. Ring with the opportunity for the break. Inselman trying to get this one back. He's doing his best.
Yeah, Inselman had that possession-saving D earlier in the game.
Disc staying with Bode.
You know that he's fired up to earn the disc back. He's already had 2 great plays.
So Bode with
two
the
great
disc.
attempts, I guess.
Coming in on
2 attempts. I'm not sure the first one was a great attempt. I think that was a little bit dirty. I think definitely warranted the TMF.
Bode to Taylor.
Well, high release back, lefty backhand. Allen underneath. Ooh, right into a lot of traffic. Bode with the around. Cretella on the doorstep, and Ring with another break as the goal goes to Shane Cisco and the 6-4 lead.
for Shane Cisco and the Ring
Great job
score.
from Ring after that turn
That's
to
Ring of
really
Fire 6,
play the possession game with the
Shane
ball.
Lightning 4.
Yeah, and Chain was definitely bringing the intensity there, and there were a couple of iffy throws there, that Justin Allen throw in the middle, but then they're off to the races. Nice around backhand to open up the space, and from there, just easy looks to that break side, end zone.
So Chain offense, after 2 breaks, will be working it downwind. This is a great position for them to be in to get back to their deep hucking game. But down 4-6.
So we're going to take a quick look at the end of the last scoring play. And keep an eye here on Inselman. You can see him in the stack in white, on the mark. And watch how he lays out here and gets himself out of position. He's trying to do too much on this play to get the disc back. And Bode just takes off, recognizing that, and that's what creates the opening as Bode gets the disc and easily able to dish that one in for the goal to Cisco.
Yeah, as we had mentioned, Inselman is really trying to get that disc back, but sometimes playing too aggressive can just put you out of position for the next play. You got to play a team defense. It can't just be all one person looking to get that for their team. As the disc sails out of bounds on the Ring of Fire pole.
Out of bounds on the pole.
Mark Poole is going to bring the disc to the brick mark.
Mark Poole
20
will
yards in
pick
front
up
of
the
his
Chain
own
Lightning.
goal line in the
He'll
center
put it
of the
in play
field.
From the brick mark.
Chain working out of a horizontal offense.
And again, we see Ring setting up in this poachy defense off the handlers, not wanting deep throws to go up. They got a break on it in that downwind point 2 points ago.
It's a loose up front and very aggressive in the middle of the field with players bouncing around and taking shots. It's where they got it last time as Shane Cisco got it on the sideline.
A lot of good movement back and forth. That's how you beat a loose cup, is just get them to the sideline and make those players move a lot. Spiva with the Frisbee.
And Ring's transitioning to person. Byron Liu with the disc currently. Back to Spiva. Taylor Pope setting a pretty aggressive mark. He's been very physical in the last 2 times Spiva's had the disc.
Foul called.
Spiva goes for the backhand fake, comes into Pope and calls the foul. Pope has been involved with a lot of these plays that are resulting in calls, either on the call himself or he is definitely willing to voice his opinion when Ring is making the calls.
Spiva with the disc.
After the reset, Chain does a great job moving the disc quickly. Wilson back to Spiva in the middle of the field. Wilson goes all the way across. Now Allen is on Wilson. Wilson known for his top speed. Poole in the middle of the field. Goes to the backhand side.
It's like a foul call downfield.
Foul called.
Shane Cisco on Christian Olsen.
Uncontested foul.
Uncontested. Looks like Noah Saul will stay here on Nicky Spiva. 2 next geners. Looks like they're agreeing to a stall count of 2.
Yeah, the foul is being called on the Chain offensive player,
Disc in on 2.
so it
Spiva
doesn't
with the disc for Chain.
reset the count for
Foul on the
Spiva.
mark. Pit called.
Pit call is going to bring this one back to Spiva. Ring's defense amping up here, and especially in the short
back
field
to Spiva,
space.
coming in
The
on
stack,
5.
lots of traffic.
Yeah, and it's so important for Chain as a team to be patient with this red zone possession. A lot of times, if they're getting stopped, it doesn't matter. Spiva finds Byron Liu in the
Nicky
end
Spiva
zone,
into the end
their
zone for
first
Byron
goal
Liu.
and 4
And
points.
the Chain score.
And
That's
Chain brings it
Lightning
within 1, 5 to
Ring of
6,
Fire
although they're
6.
down 2 breaks still in this first half.
Oh, and I like this offense here. It's just classic reversal of the field here. As Poole, Spiva, and Byron Liu work together. swinging across. There's Poole outside on the give and go to Spiva, and then Byron Lou striking from the back of the end zone towards that front cone. Looks like, you know, all this vertical stack, that kind of dump swing end zone offense. It looks like some classic like 1999 throwback we've got going on out here.
Well, offenses seem to work in that kind of rotation. The vert's popular for a while, then everyone learns to adjust to it, and the horizontal comes back in, and everyone learns to adjust to it, and we go back to vert, especially as these throwers have been throwing for a long time. Some of these players playing since they were young children. With that amount of throwing experience, the break throws become much easier for the players, and those break throws are really what drives a vertical offense.
Yeah, as soon as you can get it to the break side, you can break the mark, and then you should have open receivers on that break side that are on the wrong side of their defenders. It makes it very easy for the offense to work. And especially as, you know, not just the skills, but the defensive strategies have adjusted for those horizontal offenses to force the offense to the sideline where the horizontal's weaker, but that's where you want it in a vertical stack, because then you can break it off that line and create a whole nother space to use.
Rings offense on the field for the first time in a couple points. Nethercutt on the sideline. Goes back to the middle to Casey. Casey, big inside flick throw. And that one is down. And Ben Dieter went up for the clap catch over his head. Tried to get it on the second attempt, but that hit the ground.
And great spirit there from Ben Dieter. That might have been one where if it had gone to the observers, they would have called it up because it was kind of hidden from certainly the back observer here, Wally Quanah, and there a lot of traffic on the other side. So great spirit from Dieter there to call that one down.
Foul call.
Foul call, John Nethercutt. Inselman calling a foul on Nethercutt.
And here we see Inselman on the defensive line. He's been playing a lot of offense, but he hasn't been playing great defense on those turns. He's a strong handler for them. And as you had mentioned, a Ring of Fire alum, if you want to call it that. He probably knows a lot about this team's offense. But that throw intended for Elliot Erickson is a drop. Now Ring of Fire back with possession. As Nethercutt hits Mitchell on the sideline. Back in the center to Nethercutt. Luritz with the disc, goes across the middle. Nethercutt still with it. He's going for a deep look. Christian Foster's there, and no one is around him. Christian Foster.
Christian Johnson.
Christian Johnson. Thank you, Kyle.
Christian Johnson brings it in for the chain
And we
score.
talked about the pipeline from University of North Carolina, and that's exactly what we're talking about. That Nethercutt forehand, and, you know, he puts this one on just a line. I mean, that is a zippy throw there, kind of squeezing it in between defenders, and Christian Johnson knows to expect it. He's there in the corner, and another easy clap catch for that Ring of Fire offense. So, you know, again, Ring of Fire turns it over. That is their 6th O-line turnover, but Chain's only been able to convert once, and that is the difference in this game at this point, is the Chain D-line's ability to convert on turnovers. 7-5 lead, Ring up 2 breaks.
And when we get to that 7, we always got to start thinking about halftime. Chain needs to start thinking about how many points can we get back before we have to go in and readjust in the halftime set.
So while we have a little bit of break in action, I want to take a second here to shout out to my boy, literally my son, Sam Weisbrod, who turns 4 years old today, back in Seattle.
Happy birthday, Sam.
Happy birthday, Sam. Hopefully you'll get a chance to listen to this.
And Ring of Fire takes their first time out of the half, knowing that this is a big possession point. We're going to take a timeout as well with a quick word from our sponsors.
Final time out of the half.
Welcome back as play is about to restart here for the Ring of Fire defense. Looking at a 7-5 lead. If they can get a break here, they take an 8-5 lead, and then I believe would start the game on offense in the second half.
That's correct. Chain did start the game on offense, so Ring will receive the pull to start the second half. So Chain, some breaks here will be very valuable. And they've got a tall order. If they're being tasked to take half, that would be 3 straight points for them.
An unmarked Poole decides to not take the deep shot. Now Inselman to Taylor. Taylor back to Inselman. Has a streaking receiver. It's Olsen. There's a defender there, a whole pack of Ring players, and that is picked up out of the air by Mark Evans. Ring of Fire quickly moving back to get this break. Smartly looking off the deep throw. And Evans now with the disc.
And Brian Clark was off to the races there and wide open.
Yeah, a rare case where that downwind throw did not get in front of a player. Now Bode on the sideline. Wilson finally gets his mark on. Green with the disc. Bode's up the sideline, but a smart poach by Olsen leaves a player wide open in the middle of the field.
That's Evans with the disc in the eye on Inselman. Heads up play out of the front of the stack, able to get that disc back for Chain Lightning. And that is a big block for Chain. Going in down 4 points into half would be brutal here.
Jared Inselman with that D for Chain.
But here's an opportunity. It looks like Bode is going off the field.
Yeah, he's taking an injury substitution, holding onto his back leg.
Yeah, like this hamstring on the right side. Noah Saul coming in for him.
Noah Saul coming in to guard Asa Wilson.
Another TMF being issued.
And a TMF being issued on the field. Although I'm not quite sure what it's for or who it's to. So one team has 2 TMFs at least.
And that's big for whoever has 2 TMFs. The third TMF is a yardage penalty where it actually has a little bit of bite to it.
And we're only halfway through this game.
Nicky Spiva picks up.
So Spiva to Taylor. Taylor back to Spiva, trying to get it to that other side of the field. There's Conger with it. Conger to Olsen. Chain is moved back. Now they're on their goal line, 70 yards to go. Conger finds Spiva. Inselman is sitting back, and Spiva looking for Wilson. He's got a defender there. Wilson can't make the play. Brian Clark gets the D. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is going to be a foul call on Clark.
Yeah, so Brian Clark going up.
Foul called.
Let's take another look at it. That looks like a pretty clean play to me. Let's take another look from another angle. So on the back, the contact, whew, that's a tough call. Definitely a lot of contact after the play is over.
Here comes the observers ruling. They rule that it is a foul. Very fortunate for Chain as they are going to get possession and keep it right on the goal line. That would have been their second turn of this point for Ring to break into half. Now, Chain Lightning on the doorstep to start their comeback in this first half.
And you gotta say, I mean, the observer's job is hard. They're being tasked with making the calls when they're very difficult, close calls, and differing opinions of what happened. So, credit to Josh Cooper for being in the position to make that call. He probably had a better perspective than us, and what a block!
That's another great D from Hunter Taylor. Twice he's gotten a D on the goal line, and this one to keep Chain Lightning out of the end zone. Ring of Fire moving quickly up the field, trying to get this break back. Tristan Green sending it deep, but that one floats too far.
It is our 6th game of the weekend here, and by far, Ring is creating more turnovers than any other team that we've seen. Let's take another look at this D. After the disc gets tapped in, and Hunter Taylor from behind with the catch block. Completely horizontal. Impressive grab, and then Ring was off the races but unable to put it in. So Chain with their third opportunity on what was originally an 0 point for them.
Inselman to Taylor. We've made that call many times in this game. Inselman back within it. He goes across to Conger. Nothing going on for Conger after that throw. So he resets back to Inselman, gets it to the middle.
Pick called.
And a pick is called. Disc stops at Christian Olsen.
Christian Olsen was a disc for Chain.
Disc gets tapped back in. Taylor with the disc. Nearly another D from Ring, but Poole is able to keep it up. Now Inselman with it. Conger looking for Spiva, can't get the break. Pick called in the stack, in the end zone.
And Ring has all the momentum and all the fire right now. I mean, Chain looks like they are struggling to get open, and Ring is putting pressure up and down the line right now.
Yeah, long offensive points for these Chain Lightning teams. And a timeout called by Jared Inselman.
That's their second timeout of the half.
For Chain Lightning, he'll take a timeout.
And an O-line timeout, no less. And that just shows the stress that this Chain Lightning offense is under. They don't feel comfortable. They want to take a second to get a breath and reset. Ring is really bringing the heat.
Yeah, absolutely. Ring of Fire playing very well this point. But if they're able to get the break, we will be singing the defensive praises. But if Chain Lightning can punch this one in, we might be talking about Ring of Fire wasting those opportunities that they had in this half to really take that lead.
And, you know, for those of you following the whole tournament at home, Ring of Fire finished 4th in their pool yesterday, the C pool, and here they are on the doorstep of taking half in the quarterfinal games against Chain Lightning. You got to like the way they must be feeling right now. And maybe someone told them, hey, this is the last time Next Gen is broadcasting a men's ultimate game. Let's really bring it. Let's show them what it's all about. And they are putting on a clinic right now defensively. So Inselman here, off the timeout.
Inselman with the disc for Chain, out of that timeout.
Noah Saul setting the mark.
Noah Saul on the mark.
Tristan Green poaching the lane here for Ring.
On 3.
Immediate reset to Conger.
Chain under a lot of pressure. They haven't gotten that many yards in the passes that they're taking, but here they go. Wilson going to Conger, able to reel it in before he gets to the out-of-bounds sidelines. And Chain, after the timeout, after some struggle getting it going, oh, excuse me, maybe not a goal.
Something happened, I'm told. Travel called.
A travel is called. Not sure if it's called on Wilson on the goal or the pass before.
It looks like it's being called on Wilson here, and that's the end of that play to Conger. Here's the setup to Wilson. That is a really small-minded travel call. Looks
And
like
the observers don't see the call, so they are calling it contested. Disc comes back.
yeah, no one saw the travel.
Travel call is upheld. Just back to Asa Wilson. We'll see if Chain can do it again.
So Asa Wilson still with the disc in the middle of the field. Chain hasn't quite got their score yet. Inselman gets the score, and it looks like Noah Saul went down trying to get that D.
Yeah, he extended fully there, and I don't know if it was his shoulder or his head. Let's take another look at it. Oh, I think his head really smashed down on the ground there. Let's take another look from this angle.
Noah Saul slow to get up.
Great effort from him, and came down hard. Ooh. So he'll take one.
Players put their bodies in a lot of dangerous positions in this game, especially in a long tournament. When we're looking at Game 6 for this team, their bodies aren't at 100%, and even the smallest contact can be a jarring hit for those muscles when they're sore.
Yeah, so Josh Mullen coming in. And another bid here from Ring of Fire. They are smothering on defense. Challenging every single one of these Chain Lightning throws and really make him have to extend for catches.
Inselman hammers across, can't find Wilson. That one gets pushed into the dirt. Ring of Fire, third opportunity to break going into half.
And correct me if I'm wrong, that's Jared Inselman's third hammer turnover of this game.
And I think you are right. To be fair, one of them is a D, but still those unforced turns are just detrimental to your team's offense.
And I think part of it is just the pressure that Ring's putting in on the open side. That's where it looks like there's openings, and so they're taking more difficult throws. And now Ring will looking to go 75 yards to break to take half. And here's another travel call.
Travel call.
This one's being...
Conger calling the travel on green.
Looks like no travel. This one's going to stay.
Travel call overruled by the observer.
With Josh Mullen.
The disc will advance. Josh Mullen for Ring.
Dan Cantor was the one called for the travel. Excuse me.
That disc floats in the
Green.
air. Wilson is there.
And a strip call. Oh, game's getting a little bit dicey here.
Well, what the call is, the first call is saying that Wilson pushed, I believe that's Taylor, it's not Taylor Pope, Tim McAllister in the back, and then on the second attempt, he pulls the disc out of the air. But McAllister is calling the foul on the initial play, saying he was going to go up and had an arm in the back from Wilson.
Well, there's also a strip call, and there's two calls, so it looks like the first call,
Two fouls were called,
and both of them,
were waved off by
both
the
of the
observer.
calls overruled by the observer here.
Chain Lightning with possession, and like we had said, Kyle, two teams that know each other very well, especially in an elimination game like this. The pride, the energy, the intensity is going to come out from both teams. So Asa Wilson resets, goes across the field, and to Conger, almost deja vu for the goal that we had that was called back from the travel, and Chain Lightning able to get it in finally on their fourth possession of that offensive point.
And you know, again, Ring of Fire with their defensive intensity really putting Chain in tough positions and driving their O-line over and over again. Asa, this is not an easy throw for Wilson going over, and Conger even has to toe it in. And this is the way that Chain is being forced to score on these really big, wide break throws because the open side is so aggressive. The open side defense from Ring of Fire is putting a lot of pressure on these Chain handlers to make more and more difficult throws, and that gives them even more looks for turnovers.
So let's see if Chain's defense can bring that same type of intensity against the Ring of Fire offense. Chain has not been able to, their defensive line has not been able to generate the turns that Ring's defensive line has. And at 6-7, down 2 breaks, they need to get something going early in the half. They don't want to go into the half down 2 points, and then with Ring coming in on offense, an opportunity to make it 3 points early in that half. Jay Clark set to pull the disc.
You know, going into half down 2 isn't a death knell for Chain Lightning. Both of these teams have shown the potential to be streaky teams, to put on runs, and it's about momentum. Obviously, Chain wants this point. They want to go in with as small a deficit, or even if they can get 2 consecutive breaks in a row with the lead. But I wouldn't call Chain out of this if they're going down 2 and then starting on defense in the second half.
So Ring offense gets going. Nethercutt in the middle of the field. Quick back and forth, back to Nethercutt. Goes all the way around to Johnson. Nethercutt on the every other for Nethercutt. Finally gets pushed away. Now disc on the sideline with Nethercutt again. Dieter. To Nethercutt. Nethercutt is really winning his matchup there, and it looks like Chain Lightning has put on Taylor Goforth trying to get a big mark on Nethercutt, afraid of his deep looks, but Goforth doesn't seem to be able to match up with those quick movements.
Yeah, I would say almost across the board. Chain is not putting in nearly the type of pressure that we've seen Ring put on the Chain O-line. Ring not uncomfortable here. They're just kind of marching it up with steps on their receiver, on their defenders.
Nethercutt gets a break. Johnson continues it to the offside. Now Johnson on the breakhand side. No continue cut.
And Goforth.
There we go. That's what that big mark might have been for. Goforth snatches it out of the air on the dump cut. Clark with the disc, looks off Hollingworth. Chain Lightning with a great opportunity here. Matchups aren't set for Ring yet. Finally looking like they're getting on their player-to-player matchups, and Wooten has the disc about half field. Chain Lightning with a great opportunity to get a break and get some of this momentum back.
Yeah, Chain had a really great opportunity to take advantage of the Ring of Fire confusion on the turnover, but they weren't very aggressive. They didn't challenge that Ring defense, and now Ring's set, which has not been a good situation for them, but here's a look.
Jay Clark has it. A great bid by Jay Clark. Lands just outside the end zone. Ken Porter was poaching off to try to get something, and Jay Clark gets the disc to Hollingsworth, who jumps in the end zone, and a big break for Chain Lightning, tying the game at 7-7, now only down one break in this game.
Yeah, big break here, ties it up at 7s, and that is a big one for Hollingworth and that Chain D-line to get it back. And Goforth, you know, we were questioning the pressure they were putting on, and then Goforth extends and gets that block, takes it away from Nethercutt, and Chain gets it down the field, not without problem, but they put it in.
Just how loud are these microphones? Do you think Goforth heard us from the booth up here? Oh no, Kyle Weisbrod, I will win this matchup.
He said, I'm here for a reason, and I'm going to make him pay.
So a good move, and also a great sign for Chain is when they got that disc to keep 100% possession and put it in. That's something that the defensive line has struggled with. Even on their small break opportunities, they haven't been able to put it in. And that type of possession orientation off the turn gives your team a lot of confidence.
It's a great point. I mean, Ring has given this D-line a lot of opportunities, and that's the first time they put in, but that wasn't a clean offense from Chain. They definitely had some looks. Ken Porter had another look in there to take it back, and we had to see a huge play from Conger just to keep possession there on the goal line. Looks like this pull is going to sit out of bounds, just barely, giving Ring the disc at the brick mark. Looks like they're going to set up a vertical stack again.
Nethercutt picks up for Ring. He'll put it in play from the brick mark.
Nethercutt bringing the disc to the center of the field. Looks like he's going to be marked by Poole, so they take Goforth off that matchup. Maybe not as afraid as the deep look as they're going into the wind. Give and go to Nethercutt. Now with Casey on the sideline, and Casey unleashes. Looking downfield, but that one goes out of bounds. An update in some of the other quarterfinals matchups. Goat and Revolver in a close game. They were tied at 7-7. Now sitting in their halftime break, not quite sure who got the advantage, but Goat, who we just watched in this last game, actually got the point above Revolver, defending champion. We'll see how that game turns out. Chain Lightning, Inselman trying to get a lot of yards, and that goes right back from Ring. Ring is moving quickly. Casey with the disc, trying to get the dump to Nethercutt.
Erickson with fantastic defense, just shutting him down in each turn.
Absolutely. And Kyle, when we were talking about that Goforth matchup, I was almost about to say maybe they should put Erickson, who's that squirrely defender. That goes up in the air. Erickson doesn't see it, but the great face guard gets Nethercutt out of it.
You should have said it. If you said it, you would have looked so prescient and on top of it.
Pick called in the field. It's going to stay where it lies on the sideline. And Chain with a great opportunity.
Yeah, this is their second opportunity here to take half after really being outplayed this half. Chain's got to be very happy with this, where they're sitting right now. Even if they don't end up pulling out this point, going down only by 1 point when they've been this far outplayed. But Ring gets it back.
Huge point block. Casey sticks his hand out there. And also a great opportunity to give Ring a short field. Working 70 yards upwind is tough, but 50, much better. Or rather, 35.
And now Chain is bringing the defensive pressure. You can see him amped up. Where was this for the first half of this game? Now they're stepping it up and putting some real pressure on this Ring offense. Oh, Erickson almost gets that one. Looks like a foul call here. Jarrett Bowen calling the foul on Inselman.
Foul call.
Uncontested foul.
Taurasi with a step. And the scooper over the top to Taurasi.
Scuba into the end zone.
In bounds.
Great job towing the line. That Scuba was heading straight out of bounds, but Taurasi gets 2 hands on it, keeps his back foot in, and despite all the excitement at that last point, Ring of Fire able to take half, 8-7 with a break.
Fantastic first half action here in men's quarterfinal action. Ring going into half up 1 break, 8-7. Atlanta's Chain Lightning lucky to be down by only 1 point, I think, going into here. We have great second half action, and before we start the second half, we're going to get a great interview with the founder of ERIC. Hope you guys join us for that. We'll be back on in about 7 minutes. Welcome back to Next Gen Network's coverage of the USA Ultimate National Championships quarterfinal action here. Before we get back to the action, I'm actually here with ERIC founder Jim Garenser. Jim, I've seen a lot of these ERIC hats around the tournament. Can you tell us a little bit about what that's about?
Yeah, ERIC was founded a couple years ago from my son. Eric has had cancer his whole life. Each time we've been really fortunate on catching it early. This particular situation was when he was 19. A girl I was dating's mother had similar type of cancer. It was stage 4. His cancer was stage 2. She didn't make it, and Eric did. He's still a vibrant 22-year-old kid right now because we caught it early. So we realized we needed to do something different besides just letting awareness be a part of cancer awareness. We thought symptoms would be a great way to try to get the word out and let kids know that if you catch it early, you have a fighting chance to battle this disease.
So what does ERIC stand for?
ERIC stands for Early Recognition is Critical. Yeah, and that means just bottom line, catch it early. If there's something going on with your body that's not right, if you don't feel right on a regular basis for 2 or 3 days, let somebody know. Let your parents know. Let your teachers know. Let your peers know. It's really important just to let somebody else understand what's going on with you.
So what is your connection to Ultimate? Why are you using Ultimate as a vehicle for ERIC?
Well, I started playing Ultimate in 1979. I've played at national championships for probably 14 years. My kids play Ultimate right now. What I thought was the best way to get the word spread was to use a vehicle like Ultimate because I love the people. There's no better person in the world that I've ever seen that plays different sports than an Ultimate player. I love the way they handle their lives in general. They work hard, play hard, which is a big part of my life, and they're a perfect vehicle for us to be able to spread the word on the type of cancer symptoms that we want to have told to different kids. What we do is
yeah, so we want to get back to the game, but can you quickly, how can people get involved with ERIC and find out more?
Okay, perfect. What we do is we do clinics for middle school kids. We go into a school and take over the whole PE class, bring a couple Ultimate players in, teach the kids body awareness, being prepared for life, and also speak up and tell someone if something's going on with your body that's not right. That's the bottom line.
Awesome, great. Well, and you have a website?
We do. It's earlyrecognitioniscritical.org, and we have a Facebook page at Early Recognition is Critical. Please like us. Thank you very much.
Great. Thanks so much, Jim.
Appreciate it.
Hey, we got first half. We got back to the second half action here. We saw a pull, went out of bounds, so luckily we didn't miss much. Nethercutt picking up the disc. He's going to come back, put it in at the brick mark. Ring up 8-7 here. Looking to convert on the fact that they got that first half break here. And Chain looking to get hopefully one of the breaks back that they're going to need to win this game. Forced backhand here from Chain Lightning. Nice movement to Nethercutt on the sideline. Backhand intended to stop a bit of that Nethercutt forehand magic. And Erickson back on Nethercutt. That's certainly a matchup we should be watching. Casey with the disc, a little inside, backhand to Ben Dieter. Johnson, Nethercutt up line. Oh, opportunity for Chain, can't make most of it. Nethercutt and Johnson working together. Back across to Casey. And Casey with the IO backhand on the goal line. And over the top, Nethercutt to Lourdes. And Ring of Fire takes the 2-point lead, 10-7, converts off of having, 9-8, 9-7, converts off of having that break going into half to take the 2-point lead.
And that goal straight through Jared Inselman's hands. If he was a split second more aware, that would have been an incredible goal line block.
That's a gutsy throw there over Inselman.
And while Ring is able to put that point in, like we'd said, Kyle, that seemed like we can feel the defensive intensity from Chain Lightning pick up. In that point, they were a lot closer on their marks. They're contesting a lot of things. And if you're just able to keep that up, those pressure turns are going to happen for Ring of Fire.
And they're struggling to consistently contain Nethercutt. Nethercutt seems to be able to get the reset at will. That time they had Erickson on him again. I think when Erickson's guarding him, they're using Nethercutt's height. They're putting out to space in front of Erickson. Erickson's giving up a few inches and certainly some arm span as well.
Noah Saul on the pull for Ring of
So
Fire.
now Noah Saul ready to pull for the Ring of Fire defense. They've been very successful in the first half, generating a lot of turns, a lot of blocks from this Chain Lightning offense. I wonder if Chain Lightning was able to make the adjustments needed at half to look smooth. Looks like, coming straight out the bat, they're doing a horizontal stack, isolating Spiva coming out the front, but good poaches from the handlers. Forces the disc to Laviolette on the sideline. Laviolette floating it. Conger kind of loses it, and there's Taylor with another D for Ring.
Yeah, Hunter Taylor's been all over the place defensively, and here's the shot and the break in the end zone for Ring of Fire. Taylor with the goal. Tristan Green with the assist, and the first 3-point lead of the game for Ring of Fire.
That's Ring of Fire 10.
And putting the pressure on in the second half, Ring of Fire.
Yeah, and again, that's a pressure D type of thing. Laviolette had to go to his second option here as we take a look on how this turn happens. I guess it's his first option, but he has to go across the field. It gets caught in the wind. Not what they want. If you're going to have those unforced turns, it has to be all the way downfield. And Ring of Fire, with the short field, works it quickly, attacks that break side to Taylor, and they jump out with an early lead in the second half.
Hunter Taylor really blowing up this game. Got a couple of nominations for Patagonia Play of the Game, and now another bookends. Doing it for the Ring of Fire D-line here. And Ring, 5 points away from a semifinal berth here at the 2014 USA Ultimate National Championships. And that would be far exceeding expectations, especially after yesterday. I mean, this is a team that lost to Temper in pool play.
Right, and that's kind of the interesting thing that's happened with this 16-round type of bracket. All teams get in it, and it doesn't matter what happened on Thursday. Even the rankings, while sometimes if you're in that top seed, it's certainly much more advantageous, but a lot of these teams, there's not a clear 10-11,
absolutely
8-13. It could be anyone, and Ring of Fire showing that you can come back after having a pool play that might have been as disappointing as theirs is.
Yeah, Ring of Fire went in today as the 15th overall seed after finishing 4th in that C pool, and they match up against Machine, and Machine's a team that they have not lost to since before 2004. They've won 9 straight, now 10 straight games against Machine, and ends Machine's season, and now they're on the doorstep of the semifinals.
That is quite the record for Ring of Fire. Here, they're trying to take down Chain Lightning. As Chain's offense working upwind. The wind is picking up a lot more than it was blowing in the first half.
It's a pretty straight crosswind here, moving towards the cameras. It's a downwind throw.
Inselman out to Clark. Clark stops a deep look, goes back to Inselman. Big yardage gain to Conger. Conger on the sideline, a pick is called. Gonna stop the action on the field.
Pick called. Conger with the disc for Chain.
Conger taps back in. Wooten in the middle of the field, coming out of that stack. Resets to Spiva. Spiva going all the way across. Inselman is there, no problem. Good containment by Ring that pass doesn't lead to a second yardage gaining pass. Now Spiva all the way across to Clark. Clark able to get it with a player on his back. Looks like he's gonna call the foul just to get that position back on the inside of the field. He was pushed out to the sideline. He's got Noah Saul guarding him there. Two next-gen alums, although not in the same tour.
There's another look at that play. There's Saul with the contact.
Jay Clark with the disc.
Clark with a nice grab under pressure.
So Clark just outside the end zone. Wooten makes a cut to the cone. Is not there. Has to look for another option. Hits the reset to Spiva. Spiva up line. Conger with the player on his back. Can't bring it in. Excuse me, not Conger. That might be Mark Poole.
That is Poole.
Foul called.
That's Shane Cisco, who's also been having a phenomenal game defensively with the pressure here. Let's take another look at it. Yeah, definitely a lot of contact there.
I wonder what this is. It's going to the observer. He's making his ruling now. The observer is ruling a foul. I think that's a good play. Cisco might have been able to make a call saying that there was no chance of playing on it, but there was a lot of yardage still. Good call by the observers. Chain Lightning keeps possession. Disc is going to tap in, and he's going to walk it back to the goal line.
It was certainly a very difficult catch for Poole to make, especially with pressure, but the contact made it an almost impossible catch. So good call by the observer there. Poole with the disc.
Again, Wooten trying to attack that cone. They haven't been able to hit it. Spiva with the disc on this upwind side. Gets it to the middle to Poole. He now comes back to that handler position, and a scoober over the top.
Clark!
Wow, rips the disc right in front of Noah Saul. Took the words right out of your mouth, Kyle.
Wow, that was a fantastic catch by Clark. I thought that little iffy scoober going up there was definitely going to be D. Noah Saul came in hard here. Poole being very aggressive here. Saul, great bid, but Jay Clark, an even better one, pulls this one down, and that's a big one for Chain Lightning to settle down a little bit. 10-8, game still within reach.
Yeah, their first score of the half, and we were talking about it before the broadcast. Jay Clark just seems to have phenomenal games when he's on the next-gen camera. Maybe he's very used to it. Maybe he just likes the show. But whatever it is that puts him on the showcase field, he can make a play like that, and it can absolutely turn the game around for the Chain Lightning morale.
I think, you know, for Chain Lightning's sake, maybe they need to buy Next Gen, keep broadcasting games.
Just to keep the intensity in Jay Clark?
Just to keep, I mean, if you want the best Jay Clark, you got to have Next Gen here helping support it. So in other the quarterfinal action, Ironside 15-9 over surprise quarterfinalists Portland Rhino. So the winner of this game is going to definitely face Ironside. Hollingworth with the pull for Chain Lightning.
Pull received by Casey. He's going to center it to Nethercutt. Center stack. Johnson comes out as the ISO. Casey gets it. Quarter to Porter. No one on Porter on that sideline. Now Nethercutt again. With Erickson on him. Erickson, great job on that dump defense, making those resets very difficult. Johnson with the disc. Inside break. Now Casey has it. He's trying to lead Johnson. There are two defenders there. Goes over, but Great heads-up play by Ken Porter to follow the disc. Goes over everyone's head, and Ken Porter cleans it up uncontested.
Well, tough break from Chain there. There's definitely a look. Joel Wooten coming off the backside, leaving his Ken Porter matchup. And because that one went off the hand of Christian Johnson, Ken Porter able to react with it and get the block. I think that if Johnson hadn't tipped that one, the Joel Wooten was going to knock that one out the back. But Johnson, the little tip, just the misdirection enough for Ken Porter.
And we've talked about it in the first half. Ken Porter has been playing a great game. A couple great layout Ds, and just a smart, fast player.
I mean, he's been doing this for years. He knows where to be. He knows the ring game plan, and he's just, he's still a fantastic athlete.
So on that great play, we're going to be reminded of another great play early in this game. In fact, 2 great plays for a Patagonia play of the game, both of them coming from Hunter Taylor. The first early in this game, getting a layout block on a hammer intended to Joel Wooten. I believe this set up a break for Ring early in the game. And then when Chain was looking to score after getting a foul call, Hunter Taylor absolutely dominates his matchup. A phenomenal layout grab on the goal line. 2 goal line saves from Hunter Taylor earns him today's Patagonia play of the game.
Yeah, definitely. Hunter Taylor, both those blocks setting up huge breaks for Ring and setting the tone for the Ring defensive energy in this game. Fantastic game from Hunter Taylor.
Now, Chain Lightning working upwind. We see a 3-man loose cup. Looks like it was just to flash on that first play. Now they're settling into a person-person defense. Conger to Spiva. Spiva in the middle of the field. Finds Wilson, who had a poach. Now Olsen in the middle of the field. Olsen breaks around to Taylor. To Conger. I like this movement from Chain. They're getting those yards on the break side and taking in reset to the middle. Now we have Spiva on that sideline. Conger can't get the continuation pass, but there he gets a lot of yards to Olsen in the middle of the field. Taylor just outside the end zone looking for that continue cut. Doesn't get it. Chain has to settle back into their red zone offense. Gets it all the way around to Spiva. He's got one more to Wilson. Doesn't get it, but there's Olsen on the follow-up. Chain, great offensive point to put that one in. Just looking good.
Yeah, that was just a very nice offensive point from Olsen. And Chain Lightning all the way around, just moving it down the field. Really smooth throws all the way across. And I loved that Conger backhand that set up the goal. Really nice, smooth play with lots of pressure on him. Here's a look. Conger gets the disc. Big mark on him, and he just lays it out to space there for Spiva. And then Olsen coming charging in, undefended for the goal, bringing it back to 11-9. Here's another look at, just look at him step in and underneath that Taylor Pope mark.
And what I really like about that backhand, not only does he get it off the sideline that they're stuck at, but it's switching fields. It's crossing the middle. A lot of times teams will take those break throws, but it doesn't get them anywhere, and the defense doesn't have to adjust. By getting it past the stack and a pass, he's not throwing it to Spiva. He's leading Spiva to that sideline where Spiva can run into it. He's got a lot of space for the continue. He doesn't get Wilson on the first one because it's well defended, but Olsen coming in on the follow-up, no mark on that dead side, easy score.
And that movement puts the defense on their heels. Absolutely right, Topher. I love that look. So Chain Lightning looking to generate something here. 11-9, down by 2. They've got a lot of work to do here. They need 3 breaks if they're going to have a chance to make it into the semifinals here.
Deep pull received by Casey. He's going to center another cut.
Great coverage by Russell Snow there, shutting down that first throw, make him go to their second option, pulling him out of their pull play.
Now Johnson with the disc. To Rossi, up to Casey. He's got a receiver going, but fakes the throw. Porter attacks the disc, past a bidding Byron Liu. Now he's on that sideline. Backhand across the middle, but it misses to Rossi. Chain Lightning, opportunity to get a break. going downwind.
Ben Dieter, the intended receiver on that one, and Chain Lightning, this is a big opportunity for them to close it to a 1-point lead and make up a little bit of that ground they lost in that first half.
And here we have Inselman picking up the disc. He's been playing a lot on both sides of the field, has great defense, and is very smooth on the offensive side.
Barely in front of Spear. Dieter trying to get that one back for Ring of Fire.
Inselman in the center of the field to Spear on the sideline. They haven't moved it past this half field. Here's Lou with it. He gets the inside break, and a pick is called.
Pick called.
Downfield. It doesn't seem like Porter's calling it, so the disc will probably stay at Spinks.
Disc is staying with Trenton Spinks.
Chain Lightning at that half field point. They pick the disc up on the sideline, hasn't quite brought it back.
Looks like this one is going back to Byron Liu. Ken Porter saying the pick did impact his play on the D.
Back to Byron Liu.
So it's going to come in with a stall count of 3.
Christian Johnson on the mark.
Christian Johnson marking Byron Liu.
Open reset to Krieger from the top. Back to Byron Liu. Inselman really wanting that disc, even to get it in a disadvantageous position on the sideline, but he gets it back in the middle to Spinks. Pick on the field as Casey calls the pick, guarding Russell Snow.
It's interesting talking to some of the Sub-Zero guys after the pre-quarters game. They were wondering if TMF should be called for excessive picks or excessive travel calls, things that slow the game down. We've seen a lot of picks this weekend in these vert stacks. Ooh, Lou struggling to get open, barely gets it, then gets it off to Inselman.
Erickson cutting deep. Inselman looks it off. Now gets it across the middle to Snow. Snow and Inselman playing a little back and forth. Lou trying to get back in that handler position. Doesn't get it. Now Snow, after some confusion. Great inside out backhand, hits Krieger. Lou in the front of the end zone. Doesn't take it. Inselman looking to break, and a foul is going to be called on Snow.
Looks like we got an injury down as well.
It might be Casey. That was the matchup on Snow earlier.
Indeed, that is Brian Casey.
A little update from the women's division in the quarterfinals. Brute Squad from Boston, the overall #1 team, had a tough game against Austin Showdown. Of course, we had filmed Showdown on the first day. Brute Squad breaks and scores 3 straight points to win in an overtime 16-14.
So they were down 14-13 and won 16-14. Wow, Brute Squad, by a lot of people, are considered the favorite going to the women's division this year, and really struggling at Showdown, who's been kind of underrated all season, under the radar. Well, we got the disc check back in here.
Bode misses the layout attempt as Spiva just threads the needle into Russell Snow, and a TMF is given to Chain Lightning as Russell Snow is giving some words to the sideline after that score. It looks like it'll be 2 TMFs apiece, as there, unless Chain got that second one. Remember, we had one given to both teams.
It does look like we may have the yardage penalty here. I see some of the guys on the ring clapping. They're excited. I think that we might see a yardage penalty. Will start Ring of Fire at midfield if that is indeed their 3rd TMF. Oh, sorry, excuse me, on their attacking brick mark.
Yeah, the midfield start is after the second offsides. And Chain.
So Martin Aguilera, coach for Chain Lightning, out on the field talking to the observers right now. There you see him. Trying to get some clarification. We're definitely looking at a yardage penalty here. You know, it's interesting. I feel like these TMFs, I've seen them frequently impact the college game, but I think a lot of these club players aren't used to actually having that third TMF issued in a game, and so they're kind of not sure how to react here.
Right, it's such a rare thing to get to 3 TMFs. 1, might happen in a chippy game. 2, if it's particularly bad. But that third TMF, you really have to be at it with the other team to get up to that level. And
this is a really unfortunate break. I mean, certainly they caused this themselves for Chain Lightning. Chain Lightning just got a break to bring it within 1, and putting the pressure on the Ring O-line here is a big deal. And to give them the disc 20 yards outside the end zone on the brick mark. Here we go, Nethercutt picking the disc up.
Yeah, so this will start out similar to a timeout. It starts where the offense will set. They will take their positions on the field, and the defense will have 20 seconds to set after that, and play will start.
And the pressure too, and this will happen every single time from here on out, that Chain Lightning gets a TMF, so they've got to keep the game clean.
Well, a lot of pressure goes to Johnson, and Johnson can't quite find the disc in the air. And what an opportunity for Chain. With only 20 yards to go, they're able to stop the team. Ken Porter almost with another possession-saving D. But now, Chain Lightning with a chance to bring this game tied at 11. There's a big huck. Nikki Spiva trying to find Jay Clark. Jay Clark can't get the disc. A great defensive play.
That is a heck of a block.
Micah Hood just gets position, runs down, and wonderful play from Micah Hood. That is firing up the Ring offensive line, but after having 20 yards to go, now they're going 70.
This is a roller coaster of a point here. Ring starting on the brick mark, can't put it in. Shot to Jay Clark. Looks like Chain is going to get their second consecutive break. And Micah Hood with the play, giving Ring of Fire back possession. Looks like we have to get a new disc, because that disc, Micah Hood knocked that one into the next zip code out here. It actually went over the fence. So the observer putting it in the back of the end zone, restarting the 20-second clock to pick up the disc for Ring of Fire. And here we go with Nethercutt.
And Kyle, I just got word of a very exciting development in the men's quarterfinal action. GOAT upsets returning champion and 5 straight finalists, Revolver, in the quarterfinals play. This is something I don't think many people would have predicted. The GOAT squad looked good in this last game, and we certainly would have thought that they were going to take down Revolver. But keeping back in this game, Ring is on offense. Their second possession after getting the disc 20 yards after the TMF. Now they need to score up 1.
That's 3 #1 seeds down in this tournament. This is a wide open field. Exciting. And Ring and Chain Lightning here battling in a 1-point quarterfinal game. Excitement abounds here in Frisco, Texas.
Yeah, and the Chain defense, slight confusion, almost a call, but players keep going. In a late count, able to find Hood. Hood picks it up off the ground. He doesn't just lay it out and block it. He can also lay it out and catch it.
Foul called.
And a call.
So I'm thinking a couple passes earlier, Jared Inselman came in for the double team, played it and stopped. I'm wondering if they're thinking about issuing a second TMF here, or excuse me, a 4th TMF.
I don't
Looks
know.
like not.
Yeah, well, the confusion might have been if
no foul called, so the observers ruled no foul.
The confusion might have been if Taurasi called the double team, but it didn't look like he did because play just continued. No matter what, Hood has possession of the disc. Now to Taurasi. He's just outside the end zone. Hood's going up line, and Hood gets the bookends for Ring of Fire.
And that's
able to score.
That is for the game. The cap is on. That is Ring of Fire going on to semifinals with a 2-point win, 12-10. I apologize that we did not know that the cap was on.
I agree. That was a much surprising ending that we didn't see happen.
Holy smokes, folks. What a wild game point here. The TMF, a huge Huge point-saving block by Micah Hood, and then Ring of Fire working it in for the 12-10 victory. They will go on to face Ironside in the semifinals here of the USA Ultimate National Championships.
Yeah, we're so used to saying here on the Next Gen Network, but that is it for us today and for our coverage of the men's division. At least we will have coverage of women's pro flight playing game tomorrow, as well as a tape delay of the women's semis. But in this game, congratulations to Ring of Fire. And like you had said, Kyle, this is maybe part of their college feeder program. The University of North Carolina was just in the college finals, and now Ring of Fire semis knocking at the door to get into that finals.
No doubt, Christian Johnson and John Nethercutt doing work on the offensive line. And of course, their defense was all over Chain this game. Hunter Taylor, big blocks, Micah Hood, Tristan Green. What a team. Ring of Fire coming from nowhere, finishing 4th in their pool, and now they're going to be in the semifinals against Ironside. That should be a fantastic game for you folks tomorrow on ESPN.
Yep.
Hope you join us tomorrow for the women's play-in game and that semifinal game that will be tape delayed.